Hello everybody, it's Mr. Second Amendment, and kind of an interesting video here today. I'm going over the battle belt concepts. This is going to be part of Gearology, and essentially I'm making this video series between the gear I've been issued and the gear that I bought personally. There's been a lot of lessons learned in terms of gear, how to use it, what to buy, what you need it for, what the possible uses are, how to employ it. And hopefully I can pass some of that along. I will admit first and foremost that there's many guys who have far more gear experience than I do, but at least I'm trying to transfer what knowledge I do have and kind of encourage discussion and kind of transference of knowledge. That's why we're doing this. So I think I need to justify or explain what the whole concept of a battle belt is real quick. And very just quick in a nutshell, the battle belt is to take someone from zero to hero. That's the zero to hero concept, which is maybe I'm a cop and I just have a duty sidearm with 2 mags. Maybe I'm a responsibly armed concealed carry civilian. I've got a handgun with hopefully a couple extra mags, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the mission changes, the needs change, some type of situation that I'm all of a sudden placed in is going to require me to amp up my game, amp up my capabilities, and all of a sudden I go from just a dude with either no firepower or just a handgun to something much more than that. And this is part of a greater conceptual basis, which is called gear layering gear. Okay, very basic, quick example. Maybe battle belt is for most basic, crazy situation. Then we have an assault pack with hydration for some type of sustained event. Maybe we got to throw on a chest rig, or maybe even a plate carrier, depending on what is coming our way. Maybe we got to throw on a ruck on top of all that because it's going to be an extended multiple day situation. Whatever the case, there's different layers of gear. There's different ways that you can go. There's kind of like a ladder up series of gear that you can move up to. And this is just going to be Gearology 1, which is the battle belt. This is kind of, in my opinion, going to be the start of all of that fundamental basis. So enough talking on that. Let's just get straight to it. What is a battle belt? I've already described it. You go from zero to hero, but what you don't know, or most of you may know, battle belt's not new. Okay, this is a World War II style, 1940s. This is a web belt. This is the old school battle belt. Yeah, they didn't have molle back then, but they did have these grommets on this web belt. This is how troops used to attach their bayonet, canteen, pistol holster, med kit. So the whole idea of a battle belt is not new. You go from a guy that's just wearing, his uniform, and he's maybe just got a rifle in his hands or a sidearm. All of a sudden he straps this on with whatever else gear he's prepared. And all of a sudden he just goes from a dude with a gun to somebody who can go into a sustained event. That's kind of where we are on a conceptual basis of the battle belt. My personal situation, to kind of throw you a bone, get you out there to understand, possibly you may be, if you're viewing this right now, you may be on the fence. You may be trying to figure out, why would a citizen or civilian, why would you need something like this? What's the whole point? Very basically put, I help run a gun range and gun shop. It's a large property. There's about half dozen buildings. At the end of the night, close up, make sure it's locked and alarmed, check everything. There's some SOPs, checklists, everything I just kind of look over. And definitely don't want to be doing something like that, closing down a gun range with either no gun or very limited firepower. So instantly, dude in the gun shop or in my office, all of a sudden we close. I can go from that to just strapping on the belt. All of a sudden I have much more capability. And there's kind of an extended situation, possibly natural disaster, bug out scenario. Not that and you can see from my videos, I don't think I'm the biggest prepper in the world. Reference the spare parts video. But what I will say is I want to be prepared to get on the move and be able to take care of myself for an extended period, for some period of time. Before things could normalize. Hurricane Katrina is probably my baseline event that I can reference that's, within recent memory. Okay, anyway, digressing from all of that, moving into the belt itself, first thing I need to tell you, it is hokey, jerry-rigged, ghetto-rigged, whatever you want to call it. This gear is pieced together over gear that I've either been issued or gear that I bought over the years. And I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Yes, there's some really cool stuff. Honestly, my favorite belt's the Viking Tactics Brocos. And based on what it is, and I've seen it, and that belt is high quality. It's exactly what I tried to replicate here. And I just, honest to God here, I made the belt, and I was like, oh man, I wish something like this existed. And my Marine Corps buddy, he's like, hey dude, check out this new battle belt I got. And it was like, boom, all of a sudden everything I wanted was just right there. So I kind of made it and then saw it, and it just kind of worked out. But this is what I got for now, so let's get into it. All right, first of all, we got a rigger's belt. Okay, forgot the manufacturer. There's many good ones out there. A rigger's belt deserves, honestly, a video and a review on its own because there's so many uses. There's so many things you can do with a rigger's belt. Okay, so I couldn't even... We'd be here for hours if I'm talking about rigger's belts, so I'm going to leave that to the side. Very valuable piece of gear, has no give in it. It's got a lot of ability to hold a lot of weight, and is very secure. Obviously, a very, very good choice as a foundation for something like this. Next, what is the actual padded portion of the belt? Well, it's kind of cannibalized from an ACU vest that they gave us. And this was actually the back strap. It went in the lower back, so it's kind of doing the same function it used to, but it was strapped to the chest, to the vest harness, and this was the back strap. It was kind of like a V strap portion. These were the bottom hooks, and then the molle chest rig. It was kind of like it wasn't a chest rig, it was a molle vest. I'm going to flash up a picture. And this is the backstrap portion from it. Now, on the inside it's padded and flat, but on the outside we have two strips of molle webbing. In between that, I've laced and interwoven my rigger's belt, and I've used the gear to kind of cement it in place. What I like about that Viking Broco belt is I can choose to strategically expose or hide within the sleeve my rigger's belt. So, you know, maybe in this case I want to be running this mag pouch or the mag holster. Okay, I can expose the belt. Maybe if I want a molle flashlight holster or a molle AR pouch, I can all of a sudden put the belt inside, tuck it inside the portioned areas, and I can strap the molle on. Okay, so something very effective, valuable to have, if you ask me. Moving on from the foundation, got a carabiner. No, it's not for climbing. I don't expect or hope to be rappelling or need rappelling gear, but this is just for basic gear and attaching things. This is a Fenix. This is very impressed by this light, 740 lumens. And this is your Fenix PD32 UE. I have this on my AR-15. I love it. It's been underwater. I've literally turned it on and just dropped it into a pond, and it lights up the whole thing. And it's perfectly fine. I mean, this thing is waterproof. That's what it's meant for. Battery life takes C123s. That deserves a review on its own. But honestly, I don't like to review gear unless I've had it at least for about 6 months. Okay, so I want to use this gear. I want to shoot it. I want to wear it. I want to use it. Then once it's been around for a while within my EDC or the stuff I'm using, then I'll go ahead and review it. I don't want to give you a phony review of just, hey, I just got this gear, let's review it. To me, that doesn't make much sense. Moving on, this is a Blackhawk single stack dual mag holster. It's basically, I have two of these, one on the belt, one that I use for EDC, and you've seen that. I'm going to flash up my EDC videos now. Basically, just goes through the rigger's belt, and we're going to talk about this, but you'll notice the pistol mags are ready to go, open exposed, and the AR mags are going to be within this pouch. So we're going to talk about that. Also got my magazines numbered. I'm going to throw up my magazines 101 video as to why. I'm not really going to waste too much airtime on it. Okay, mag pouch here. I've got my two AR mags, and pretty easy to get to for the most part. It's going to be about the 7 o'clock, 7:30 position on the belt line. I am a right-handed shooter, so left-hand reloads, off-hand reloads are going to happen with the left hand reaching back to the left. And I kind of sunk them low. I could have raised them up a little higher on the belt line. I sunk them low because it just works out with the weight dispersion, and I don't want to have any conflicts of when I'm tilting left or right. I want to try to limit whatever's poking me in the side, especially something this long and flat. Okay, so I kind of sunk them a little low. Going back to that point I made earlier, okay, pistol mags exposed, easy to get to. Primary mags are not as easy to get to. Okay, I got 30 rounds in an AR-15. If and when that 30 rounds runs out, then I do a reload, if it even gets to a reload. If it gets to a reload, rip this open, of course with my left hand, pull it out, boom, got the mag. Now, I can do that 2 times. I got 2 reloads before I'm out. Now, I've just expended 90 rounds of ammo. Or in an alternative scenario, I've got a critical error, I've got a remedial action. Now, this is going to be another concept of a future video, but if I have a AR-15 as my primary and I've got plenty of ammo for it, all of a sudden it jams, I have stovepipe, I have double feed, whatever, I have something critical, all right, but that primary weapon system's down, my need for firepower is immediate, and I happen to have a loaded sidearm ready to go. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to try to mess with our primary to get it back up, or we're going to go towards the secondary? Yeah, we're going to go towards the secondary. There is no reason in the world, if I have a primary weapon system that's down, I have no idea what's wrong with it. I don't want to spend the time to diagnose and then figure it out. All right, there's no reason to mess with it. I can switch to secondary faster than I can either reload or I can try to figure out what's going on and fix it. Okay, so basically transferring my thought to that, if my gun jams, has a problem, or I'm out of ammo, and the situation requires me to go to a secondary, the situation is already pretty bad, to say the least. Now, if my secondary is in need of reloading, okay, so the situation has already got bad enough that I need a secondary. The situation has got even worse to where I need to reload that secondary. I want that ammo quick. I want it now. I want it fast. I don't want to mess around with having to rip open pouches and dig and fish out ammo. I just want to grab and go. And that's a testament to the strength right there, is I have it latched down pretty tight. This is the kind of belt too I just want to be able to throw on the ground and not worry about any of my stuff coming out. Okay, so moving from that point, secondary ammo, at least right now in my train of thought, I want that quick, because if I'm ever in the need to reload, it's probably a really bad situation. And at that point, I don't even know why I'm there. All right, moving on, got my K-bar. That's a mini K-bar. It's got the serrated portion. You've seen this before and in the other videos. And at the end of the day, I think that a battle belt should have a fixed knife of some kind. You know, you've got, right now I'm running the Emerson CQC7B. I'm going to cue that review for you there. That's my EDC knife, pocket clip knife. What if it falls out? What if for whatever reason the pocket clip comes loose and comes off, which is known to happen sometimes on these knives. Not Emerson's, but these types of knives, pocket clips come out. Okay, what if I lose my EDC knife? I lose all my blades and then I strap on the battle belt. I want to have something on the battle belt. Again, this is kind of hokey jerry rigged, but at the end of the day, this is what we call tying down your gear. So I'm keeping it in place with 550 cord. And kind of going back to my original thought, I want to leave that fixed blade onto the battle belt. I think that's very valuable to have something there when everything else fails. Moving on, my last thing I was using this for, I needed this, but this is kind of an on and off again appearance. You got the MRE spoon and the AR-15 brush. This brush is useful for many things. You can use it as a toothbrush if you need to, weapons maintenance, there's so many things you can do. Sticking it in there, it's going to stay. Next thing is an MRE spoon. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to eat, right, at some point. And I have been stuck, as you can see, in Fieldcraft MREs. I'm going to cue that video too. Okay, there has been some times where we've gotten MREs without a spoon. Okay, and that sucks. If you don't have an MRE spoon, you didn't keep one. So it's always good to just have something on you to eat with at the end of the day. But then again, your mileage may vary. Your situation is going to depend entirely on what you're doing. Moving on, I don't even want to waste time on this because that is the subject of a future video. People are probably been eyeing this or wondering what's going on here. Okay, this right here is a pack. It's a butt pack. You can put whatever you want in there. It's got a zipper. You can cinch it down. And I have basically it's a it's like bed mat situation that I found out. There's some ODA guys that we were attached with at that time. And those guys taught us a lot of stuff. And one of those things was a custom made. They found some tailor shop outside Fort Bragg, which is pretty common. Everywhere you can go, anywhere you can get a tailor shop, people just make you stuff. These guys basically found a tailor shop and they had them make their own bedroll out of the Mylar sheet with the poncho and some other elements, making a really light but really protective thermal bedroll that takes up very little space and weight. I'm going to save that for a future video because that's kind of a cool thing within itself. I think it deserves a review. I think you guys should know about it. Moving on, got some very quick, easy, tucked away, not too hard to get to chem lights. Chem lights can be valuable for many reasons, and I kind of like to have those on there. Moving on, we got the Leatherman Surge, and really enjoying it so far. Leatherman, good American-made product, but honestly, looking at the product itself, it's pretty good. I've had a lot of success with it so far. Again, though, in line with my reviewing conceptuals here, I don't want to review something unless I've had it for a while. So this is relatively new. One of my good Marine buddies gave that to me, and you know, I just want to keep using that for a while until I get a review. But there will be one. I guarantee it. I'm enjoying it. Okay, main attraction, at least on the belt, is going to be the 1911. I'm not going to waste airtime on the gun itself. It's a Springfield mil spec. I'm going to throw up the custom video link right now. I've already done a 2-part series on this gun and what makes it different than the standard stock mil spec. So I'm not going to waste time on it. Thoroughly enjoy this gun. It's my EDC everyday carry. It's my concealed gun. Yes, it's my concealed gun. I'm going to throw up my EDC links right now for more explanation on that. I don't want to waste airtime on that. It's already been laid out. Okay, moving on. This is Blackhawk Serpa holster, and I've got a lot of good use out of it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's pretty solid. I think this was kind of cutting edge at the time. I see that Kydex is definitely coming forward. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned that. Kydex pistol and AR pouches are also a really cool way to go. They make, literally, you can get custom Kydex. Raven Concealment's one of the biggest brands out there. It does a pretty good job. But you can get flashlight, literally everything on this belt except for the bedroll. You can, that'd be funny, a bedroll Kydex holster. But literally everything on here, if you really wanted to, you could get a Kydex holster for it. In many cases, like the pistol mags and the pistol itself, they're already out there ready to ship. So Kydex is an interesting material. I think before Kydex really hit the mainstream in the gear market, Serpa was kind of hitting the main thing, and that was the way to do it. I like it for the most part. A little mini review here. And again, there's nothing in there. Right, weapons on safe. One thing I don't understand and I don't like is I have my ejection port with my raw barrel, some oil lubricant here. Okay, but all of a sudden they decided to lower it and expose that to the world. Okay, I'm not a big fan of that feature, although I like the fact that that is like, if you look up in the dictionary retention, you're going to see this holster sitting on this battle belt, probably. Okay, true story. Retention, huge. Exposing, not so good. All right, but look, you can see that rigger's belt's coming through. You can tighten these down, you can adjust it, you can adjust the tension. Really good thing. Okay, who's my medics out there? EMTs, medics, combat medics. Okay, what is this? You know what that is. IFAK. Okay, I'm not going to waste time on this. I think an IFAK deserves its own video. One of my good Marine Corps buddies here, he's Marine Recon. He's helped me design a better IFAK than I've ever imagined. And it's once I get his input and we start to configure this, it's pretty much there. There's a couple things. I need another H&H and decompression needle, stuff like that. I'm going to make a video on the IFAK, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to waste too much time on it. But it's over here in front. It's the last piece of gear on the train here. And the reason for that is because I want it to be very obvious, very open, very easy to get to. Many people who understand the purpose of an IFAK, if you are lucky enough, yeah, you're using it on yourself. Other cases, though, someone else is using it to assist you because you're incapacitated or not capable. I want it to be very obvious, very open, very easy to get to. I got the shears. Shears are really good. They don't have to be sanitary because of the job that they perform, so you can tuck them in the molle, tuck them in anywhere. This doesn't interfere with the belt line, surprisingly. And some of you guys are thinking, okay, well, you're getting to that 1911. You know, at the end of the day, are you going to be able to get to that with all this crap in the way? Good thought, good concern, but once it starts to curl around the hip line, it actually pops everything out. And even that Leatherman and the glow sticks entirely out of the way, surprisingly. I need to make a video of doing some draws and holsterings with this belt, but it's pretty quick. So, you know, once you curve it, things start to get out of the way and it starts to become a little more pronounced, a little easier to get to. Okay. One last thing I think I need to justify, I think I really owe all of you an explanation, is why I'm using ACU. At the end of the day, I'm not a huge fan of ACU. In fact, my favorite is Multicam and Coyote Tan. Those are my two favorites. But I've made some deviations from that. You got your green IFAK, who cares? Green rigger's belt, doesn't matter. Black K-bar, doesn't matter. But ACUs, okay, we used to try to deliberately stain these with the sand and the dirt and everything else that was in the region or area, trying to incorporate that, and they will stain. You can see this is kind of on the newer side. I didn't really use that as much. This is on the older side that I use a lot. And you can see that it has been stained through time, and actually it starts to blend a little better. Much bigger fan of the Multicam, not a huge fan of the ACUs, although in the given role that this belt is meant to provide for, which I already explained in the beginning of the video, okay, I feel like it doesn't really matter if it's going to be ACUs, Multicam, or anything like that. So anyway, I just want to cut to the chase. If you've stood in this whole time, you've been watching, thank you for watching. I'm going to be putting some more gear videos out. And hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it's kind of throwing some different ideas your way. Hopefully it's kind of shown you a little bit of a different approach for somebody else. And hopefully it's been worthwhile. So please comment for questions, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more.